this is your girl, Brianna Javon, here with Geek Plus Magazine. Thank you for tuning into another episode of Investing in Your Success, INYS SIDEBAR. Today we have a special guest. She is not only a speaker, a coach, on top of that she's also educated. Today we have Dr. Kristen Guillory.
Hello.
How are you doing?
I am good.
That's so good.
Yes.
Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Okay. All right, so we talk about your entrepreneur journey. So you ready to get into it?
Let's go.
All right. So how did you get to be an entrepreneur? Talk about that.
Yes. So I never wanted to be an entrepreneur. That was never a dream I had growing up because I like stability and I like consistent money in my account, and I did not want it.
Right.
So I became an entrepreneur. So I started a consulting firm maybe 10 years ago just on the side because as a speaker, as a trainer, people started hiring me and wanting to book me, and I thought it would be appropriate to have a consulting firm to do this, but that was only on the side.
Right.
So I was a professor for about 12 years and a therapist for some years in there, and did a lot of work in mental health and social work. So in May of 2014, I felt the Lord tell me to leave my job. I was a professor, and the Lord said leave, and I said no, and he said leave, and I said no. And then I walked on a wire, literally 30 feet in the air, and he used that experience to basically say, you know how you were afraid on the wire, you know how you wanted to give up and turn around, you're going to feel that on this journey, but I have you. Just like the harness had you, you're not going anywhere. And I quit my job and started as a full-time entrepreneur in August of 2014. And initially I thought that it was going to be training and consulting and speaking and all of that stuff. And it is that, but it's branched out into so much more. So I now do speaker coaching, which is one of my main things I do, along with public speaking. And I have had a lot of highs on this journey, and I've had some really low lows. I've had some lows on this journey that made me want to turn back and made me want to give up. But I'm so grateful that I did not give up and stayed in this thing.
Nice. So what gives you the motivation, like you mentioned, you're still here, you're still doing it.
Yeah.
What's giving you the motivation to continue to do it?
So I love helping people. I love that I've been given this ability and this gift to use my voice to encourage and inspire as a speaker, as a trainer, and I love that I have a uniqueness about me that you see me, and I'm fully walking in that, where maybe I didn't a few years ago. And then just very recently, as of January last year, I ventured into being a speaker coach, and I love it.
What do you love about it?
Oh, good question. I love helping people who want to use their voice and want to use their story to educate, inspire, challenge. I mean, I love it, and I didn't realize how good I was at it until I really started helping people. But I love it. I find some days I'm in our speaker coaching group and I'm giving feedback and I'm excited for our calls, but I love it. I love positioning people for the yes. I don't just want to help you become a really good speaker. I want to position you to do what you do excellent and connect at a heart level and be prepared for the yes. And what I mean by that is, let's say you're on stage and somebody grabs you right afterwards and says, you're amazing, we want to hire you. That's the yes. Are you prepared for the yes? Meaning contracts, paperwork, do you know how to negotiate? Do you know how to work that thing? And I do. I love it. I love speaker coaching.
Okay. So I'm sure you had to go through those steps, like you mentioned, you know, accepting that offer and things of that nature. So what type of lessons did you learn so you can teach those people to, you know, being a speaker coach? Like what type of lessons did you learn that you're feeling confident to help the next person?
Yes. One lesson is that you can charge, that you have the right to charge as a speaker. I was nervous charging a couple of years ago, and more than a couple of years ago, but number one, knowing that you can charge as a speaker. Number two, knowing that it can be a business. Number three, knowing that you don't have to be anybody other than yourself. Knowing that you don't have to be whoever your favorite speaker is, you don't have to be that person, just be you. I also learned that you need feedback. Feedback is really important on this journey. I learned that when I don't pray before my engagements, I walk in a little too cocky. And for me, I still get nervous. I've spoken over 600 times, and I still get nervous, which to me means that I'm walking in having to trust the Lord as opposed to, oh, I got this, okay. And so just those are things I've learned. I've learned that it's okay to negotiate. I've learned how to negotiate. I am excellent at negotiating.
Excellent.
Excellent.
Okay.
See. I'm excellent at it, and I'm still growing in that area, but I've just learned some of these things. I've also learned that you may have to say no. Okay. That every opportunity is not a yes. And I've also learned that you've got to make sure you have all the business pieces there, which, I mean, a speaker request form, your contract, your pre-event questionnaire, along with like 10 other forms, and your whole system as a speaker if you want to be in the position for that yes.
I like it. Okay. So I have seen Dr. Guillory before, and I feel like you go on stage with so much confidence. How do you build that much confidence? Because I mean, you're in front of a lot of people. When I saw you at that conference, there was a lot of us in the crowd.
Yes.
So how do you build that confidence before you get on stage?
Oh, good question.
Thank you.
Oh, prayer.
Okay.
Prayer, because it's not me. It's me.
Right.
But it's a gift I've been given.
Right.
And the other thing of it is I want to honor the audience. I want to honor the people who are either there because they have to be there, or they've chosen to be there, and that means they deserve the best that I can give, because that's disrespectful. I believe that when you don't prepare, even for 5 minutes to get on stage, you are disrespecting your audience. And I also, just because I've been doing this for a while, I know what it means specifically for women and women of color to see me. I know that. I know that because you do see somebody who's confident, and I'm human, so I have moments of insecurity. I have moments where I look in the mirror and I'm like, ooh, not today. Oh Lord, I'm human. I've dealt with doubt. I still deal with those things, but I also know what it means to see someone who looks like me, someone who sounds like me, someone who has the credentials that I have on stage in front of you, who's dancing, who's doing a little something. I have seen having fun. I mean, you were there. Yes. I see what that means. And yeah, I think that's why I make sure to the best of my ability that the confidence is authentic. Yeah.
So how do you get your material together when you start speaking?
Good question.
Thank you.
Okay. Oh, breezy. Oh, breezy. I'm so excited. So I kind of have a unique process, but everybody does. When I'm invited, I need the topic first, and when I get on a consultation call with the client, either me or my team, we ask a lot of questions. I tell this to my clients, and regardless of the client, if you are ever talking more than the potential client, you've already lost. So if I'm on a call, I'm asking you about your organization, what you need, what are highs and lows, what are opportunities for growth. I need to get to know you. And so then I hear that, and it stays in me. So I start working on it in my mind, and honestly, here's a little secret. Don't do this, y'all, but here's a little secret. I sometimes don't put the entire talk together until 2 days before. Really? Because I'm creating it in my mind, and I might write down outlines here and there, but I know that it's there. And sometimes I type it all out or write it to get it in me, and then we're ready. And I also want to make sure that I not only inspire you and motivate you and we have a good time, but I always strive to make sure, one, that there's some kind of interactive component, because I know what that does. I know what it does, that like, oh, okay, we just met somebody else, or we're dancing. And then I also strive to give tips and resources and things that you can do, like today. Like, you've just been inspired, but now I challenge you to text that friend you haven't spoken to in 2 years and say, I'm sorry. Or I challenge you to not wake up and touch your cell phone first thing in the morning, And so I believe in interaction.
That is something that people do.
It is. It is. And we're not, thinking it's a bad thing, but when you're challenged in that. So yeah, so I prepare with those things, genuine curiosity, I need an interactive component, and I want to offer you a challenge. And I have to always offer part of me. I always share part of my story, always.
Yeah. So is that a strategy for you? Because you do show a lot of you Like when you have the whole slideshow about your family and your nephews and things of that nature, is that something that, you know, I want to make sure is different from other speakers? Like that is just something like a strategy?
I don't know if it's a strategy, but just authentically me.
Nice.
Yeah, just who I am, because I am sharing me, and I am an aunt. I'm a really proud aunt, and I love my family, so why would I not share that?
Right.
And I've been through some hard things, and why would I not share that? Because sometimes people think speakers haven't gone through anything, or you're on stage, that means you're perfect. No. And I've had people say things like that to me, like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you cried on stage, and that lets me know that you're human. You're human. Yes, I'm human, but I get it. I totally get it. But no, that's me. And other speakers use pictures as well and do that. But that's just I literally incorporate my nephews in every talk.
I love it.
Like everyone, so much so the 5-year-old Callan will say, "Did you tell them about us again?" And I'll say yes. The 9-year-old would say, when I would talk about them in classes when I was a professor, "You tell your students about us." And so I said, "Callan, 5-year-old, I told everybody that you love dinosaurs." "You did." I did. They know that. They know they're in my presentations.
I love it. So, like you mentioned, sometimes you do still be scared and things of that nature. What do you do when you feel fear?
Yeah. So if I'm nervous, that's okay. Like if I'm nervous, okay, Lord, this is you just trying to help me make sure that I'm not putting myself on a pedestal. When there's fear, I don't really think I've experienced fear in a while, but when there's fear, it's, what is this? What am I afraid of? And I have to kind of talk to myself. My best friend and I, Marco Polo, all the time use that app because we may not be able to hop on a call, but we use Marco Polo all the time. And I may get on that and say, "Hey girl, I need you to pray for me. I don't know what this is. I'm really nervous right now." And that happens. I was really nervous at the event where we met and before, because I knew that it was a big deal. I've been nervous in other spaces, like I spoke at a Fortune 10 company and I was really nervous. I'm like, what is this fear? What is this? Okay, no, I got this.
Yes,
you can't. So
get the confidence.
Absolutely, prayer, support system, and then remembering they chose you. They chose me. So let's get this. Let's go. Okay.
Make it happen.
Yes. Like you.
I'm trying.
Yeah, no, you're not trying. You're doing. You're not trying. You're doing.
True. See? All right. So, how do you accomplish your goals?
So I like using the solution-focused framework of goal setting. So solution-focused mechanisms or methods are more so for counseling, but there's one, their definition of goal setting I really like. So solution-focused says that a goal should be a first step rather than the end result. And I like that because, I don't know about you, but I've written so many goals lists and maybe you don't ever accomplish them because the goals seem so big, right? Like if you want to lose 50 pounds, you can't lose 50 pounds in a week. But can I drink more water tomorrow? Or can I go to the gym tomorrow? So my goal is to drink more water tomorrow. My end result is losing 50 pounds. And so I try to break down my goals like that and just things that are realistic. I also make sure to surrender my goals back to the Lord. And that's really important for me to do. And circle back because they may not be things that I'm supposed to do, or I might be limiting him. You know, Ephesians 3:20 says he can do more than we can ever ask or imagine. And the other translation is he can do exceedingly and abundantly above all. I'll be honest with you, I don't think we believe that. We say it, but we don't believe it.
And that is a difference.
There's a difference. Because if you believe that he can do more than you can ever ask or imagine, you're not going to be so stuck to this vision board where you've left no room for him to come in and be the Lord. You will not be so stern on this list I've written. Now, it's nothing wrong with writing things down. I believe in the power of writing and telling people, but I'm like, Lord, let me surrender all this back to you. I recently did. I was in Colombia. I love Colombia. Cartagena, Colombia. And I wrote down a 5-year plan, a 5-year financial plan that is pretty aggressive, but realistic. And I remember being like, Lord, let me give this back to you. Because you could do more, or you could say no, but let me make sure this isn't about me. So ideally, that's what I do with goal setting.
I love that's
do.
so funny that you bring that up
What?
because I was just talking to somebody about Ephesians chapter 1, 11 through 12. And that's what it was about, you know, taking in what God has given, but giving it back to Him because He's the one that gave it to us.
Yeah.
So I love that.
What's something you need to give back to?
Okay. Everything. I mean, everything.
Yeah,
Because, I mean, like you mentioned, a lot of these gifts and everything that we had is not something that we gave ourselves.
No.
So that's so funny that we're talking about Ephesians because it's all through Ephesians that whatever we have, we have to give it back to Him. We got to circle back to Him.
Honor Him with it and thank Him. Not honor Him with it, but thank Him for it.
And be grateful.
Absolutely. Yeah.
That's good. Okay. All right. So, so what resources have you used in the past to network with other entrepreneurs?
Resources in the past. So actually I have started groups. So I've started networking groups for women, and they've been small groups, and we've gotten together monthly to just sharpen each other and do things like that. I have been a part of things with the Small Business Association, so in getting a coach there or going to one or two of their events. And there is a couple other organizations have monthly networking events, and I sometimes go to that. And I striving means you don't do it all the time.
Right.
I strive to network with people I know, like people who are in my social media circles and connect. And so that's been really cool. People who I don't know personally, but they may message me and we may go do lunch and just say, how can we support each other in that? I network on LinkedIn a lot. LinkedIn is, for me, been really valuable. And yeah.
I like it. So how do you use social media as an advantage for your speaking, your training, your coaching, and things of that nature?
Okay, you give me secret, y'all. Give me secret sauce. Okay. So one method that I use is actually messaging people.
Okay.
Via social media. Now, not messaging people I don't know, not messaging folks out of the blue, but a personal message. A personal message of, hey, thank you so much for liking my flyer about my boot camp. Hope things are well. I want to personally invite you to the boot camp. Right? So it takes time, but for me, the time investment has been so worth it. I've actually gotten more people to sign up for my boot camps from personal messages than the posts.
Wow. That is exciting. Okay. Thank you for the secret.
You're welcome.
So what does a day for Dr. Guillory look like?
Ooh, depending on the day.
Okay.
Depending on the day. So if it's a non-speaking day, the day looks like I may wake up around 9. I am not a morning person whatsoever. Not at all. I may wake up at 9. I strive not to check email or social media before 10 a.m.
Okay.
I definitely strive not to respond to email or text messages before 10 because I'm not a morning person.
Okay.
And normally, like after 10, hey, how are you? Hope things are well, blah, blah, blah. Before 10, send it now. Like it's not as wonderful. I strive to wake up and pray.
Right.
And it really just depends. So if it's a day where I'm on social media because I'm posting different things for different projects, I make it a social media day. If it's a day where I've got to get contracts done, it just really depends. As of late, I am meeting with my trainer at noon. So I have a personal trainer, and I try to go to a workout class at night if I don't make the training.
Okay.
And it just depends. So yeah, I'm working. Am I working 8 hours a day? I'm not. Nope. I probably work, depending on the day. Maybe 5 hours. Some days it may be a little bit longer. I might be working on the weekend because when I speak, that's an all-day thing. Right? Like if I'm speaking for an hour, I get there an hour before, I stay an hour later, and I'm doing other prep. So it really just depends on the day.
So with your speaking, does it take a lot of energy or it just comes natural?
It comes natural and it takes a lot of energy.
Okay.
Yeah, because it's one thing to have a one-on-one conversation where
Right.
you don't really have to use a lot of energy. It's another to be on stage in front of 100 people, 1,000 people, and you have to project something else. And I don't mean being loud, it means something in your stance where I can captivate a room of 10,000 the same as captivating 10 people. So yeah, it's energy because I'm giving you all of it.
Right. I mean, 100%.
Real talk. Thank you. Aww.
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you.
All right, so what's the future for Dr. Guillory?
Ooh, so much. So the future is work-wise. I'm looking to really make my speaker coaching into an empire. I am striving to launch that even more and do more 90-day programs and have these boot camps and take them there, because they're so successful and they're so good and people get so much out of it. I mean, I'm not even just saying this, but they are. And I'm like, man, this is so awesome. So I love that. I also am co-founder of something called Women of Candor, which is along with Sydney Plant, who is a storyteller, and we are providing platforms for Black women to share their voices, to share our truths through storytelling, through comedy, through public speaking. And our first event is in a week, and we have other events going on during the year, and we look to take that a little bit further. I look to write another book. I have 2 books out, but I look to write another book to help people. And I do have a long-term goal to do some kind of talk show thing. So don't know what it would look like. Yes.
I'm going to tune in.
I'm going to tune into yours too.
Thank you.
Both of us.
Okay.
Okay. Yes, on each other's show.
That's true.
And I plan to do a lot of traveling. I plan to host a trip for women to Colombia in 2020. I host trips already. I'm going to Greece in November. I love to travel, and I figure if I love to travel and I love to do things like dance, why don't I incorporate that into what I do?
Right.
So we dance in my talks, and I am coordinating travel with things, and so and I am just open. I'm open to what's next, because I had no idea I would be a speaker coach literally 15 months ago.
Wow. And look at you.
I know.
Making it happen.
I know.
Congrats.
Thank you.
All right. And so how can we find you? How can we keep up with you?
Yes,
social media, website.
So social media, Instagram is Dr. G Speaks. Twitter is Dr. G Speaks. Facebook is Dr. G Speaks.
Okay.
As well as my name. So feel free to find my for real page. It's okay. You can find the for real page. I'm cool. What's up? My website is KristenGuillory.com. Women of Candor is Candor Women. Or at Candor Women on Instagram, and Women of Candor on Facebook. So yes.
Okay. And so here with Geek Plus Magazine, we do have a game. It's called This or That.
Okay.
So I have 2 of them for you.
Let's go.
So like you mentioned before, you used to be a professor. So now, I mean, not now, because you already know you already chose your passion. But if you could choose being a professional speaker or a professor, which one would it be?
Speaker.
Why would that? Why
Speaker? Because I loved connecting with my students. I loved it. I did not love the grading.
Okay.
I did not love teaching things that I didn't believe in necessarily, but I loved representing for women and Black women as a professor. I love being able to connect with my students, and so I get to do that as a speaker. I go guest speak at colleges. I am still teaching in my coaching programs, but I love being a professor. I'm not taking anything away from being a professor. I actually taught my first graduate class at 24. And I walked in there, they were like, "You're a new student." No. Your instructor. Hello.
Right.
So I'm not taking anything away from that, because of being a professor, I had to do public speaking every day. Right? And so that's one of the reasons why I'm so good at it, is because I've been practicing public speaking for a long time, and you get feedback every semester. And I mean, so being a professor so helped me in so many ways. And
you feel like it kind of prepared you to be where you are today?
Absolutely. 100%.
Okay.
Because I sometimes speak like a professor. Depending on the training, we're doing some research.
Okay. Yes. All right, so the next one, since you are, such an entertainer to me, as far as movies and books and things of that nature, would you choose love or would you choose comedy?
Oh, comedy.
Okay. Why is that?
It's when I want to laugh. Laughter is so healing and so cathartic and so amazing, and you can have a romantic comedy.
Right.
But laughter, 100%.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Well, that's a wrap. Is there anything that you would like to tell us? Anything you feel like I missed? Anything you want to add?
Ooh, I feel like you got it all.
You feel it?
Yes.
Okay.
So what makes you amazing?
What makes me amazing is that I just go out there. I jump into it. If there's an opportunity, I may get scared. Like right now, situation right here. I get a little nervous, but I'm here. I'm going to do it. somebody believed in me, so I have to show them, hey, I can do it.
Yeah.
So I feel like that is an amazing characteristic of something that I have.
It is. I'm serious, it is, because everybody doesn't have that, and I think that's awesome.
Thank you.
That's awesome. And you may be a little nervous. I've been nervous. And there's something this guy said that I love. It's not mine. It's not mine. And it said being nervous is an indication that what you're doing is important to you. And that resonated with me because, a lot of times when people pray, Lord, take these nerves away. And the guy said, Lord, help us use them.
Right.
And that was a game changer for me because I was like, being nervous is not bad.
Yeah.
Like that's our body reacting to. Now we know the difference between a nervous that, I got to get out of here. I need help, right? But nervous because this is a big opportunity.
Right.
Yes.
And sometimes you gotta take those things, and if it makes you uncomfortable, that means it's growth at the end of it.
Absolutely.
So
okay, preacher.
I'm trying. All right, well, thank you so much,
Thank
Dr.
you.
Guillory, for coming in
Thank
with
you.
Geek Plus Magazine. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
So thank you guys so much for tuning in to another episode of Investing in Your Success, INYS Sidebar. This is your girl, Brianna, with Geek Plus Magazine, where we think forward and innovate life. You guys have a great one.
Boom.